All right, hello everyone. I am Dan the VP, and I heard this was a marathon with guns, so I'm gonna bring the gun. We're gonna be playing Enter the Gungeon, the game literally about every gun and every gun pun that you could imagine. We're gonna be doing an any percent run, and we're gonna be making it a rainbow run, and we'll talk about what all of that means as I get in here. So this game, naturally, the any percent run. You really almost think about this as a subcategory. This is a roguelike game. This is a bullet hell kind of procedurally generated. Kind of ticks all those boxes. The speed run for this game is anywhere from 3 minutes to 30 minutes. And so for an RTA setting, for a marathon setting, this is as much just a speed exhibition as it is what you would see if you went to the top rankings of the leaderboards. So we're doing a rainbow run. What that means is we're going to get one chest at the beginning of every floor. We got 5 floors in the any percent run. We're going to have a choice of items, which we'll be able to see that here in the first floor. And this differs from just a normal run, as in normal run, killing bosses would give us one item, and we'd have a chance at chests and shop items throughout the run. But a rainbow run kind of gives us more choice. We get less items overall, but we get more choice, and it ends up being a smoother run for a marathon setting. Time starts when I first move the character, so I actually get to open a chest before we start. I've got a gun that I want to pick out of this. We're going to grab the Raiden coil here, and so time is going to start in 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so there is way more about this game than I could say, than I have time for. So I'm going to try to hit the high points, point out some speed run specific information, try to hit some of the gun puns that we're going to see. Ooh, the gun nut doubled up on me. But I am playing as the gunslinger character. Like I said, this is a top-down bullet hell roguelike. Very much in the vein of Binding of Isaac. I know it's another one that a lot of people are familiar with. Gungeon was originally released in 2016, and shout out to Dodge Roll Games and Devolver Digital for just... I think they added more to the game in total than was originally released with the game, which is just incredible. And the gunslinger character was one of the very last things they added to the game. In the game, we have synergies, which is kind of self-explanatory. You get a couple different items, they synergize together. Maybe you get a special passive effect or a unique ability. But after you unlock the gunslinger, which is a hefty task in itself, you can play as the gunslinger, and the gunslinger gets every synergy with every gun. And for shots fired, there's no better character to play with than the gunmaster himself. But this makes the gunslinger by far the fastest character. There are some other characters that can kind of, in an ideal setting, could compete, but for RTA runs where you never know what you're going to get, and it's really mostly making the best out of a bad situation, the favorability of all of the gun synergies really makes just about every gun viable playing with the gunslinger. So we picked up this Raiden coil, and it's supposed to be just a beam weapon that hits one enemy. The synergies on it let it hit multiple enemies, and I get some of these extra shots. So the first boss, we actually did an entire phase skip on the first boss. That's supposed to be a 2-phase fight, and we're already a fifth of the way through the game. So I'm going to try to keep explaining things. If anybody's got questions or comments, I do have chat open, and I would love to answer those. We fell down the hole. This is okay. It's actually a secret there. I'm going to grab the hero's bandana, as this increases our ammo and drastically upgrades our ammo capacity. We went from 600 ammo, which is the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. Now we have a max of 2,000. And the strategy for Rainbow Run, if I'm resetting for a PB or for a world record, I'm playing on a highly curated save file, and I'm resetting floor 1 over and over to get a couple weapons. For an RTA run, I'm mostly looking for a gun that can clear rooms quickly, and then items that can support it. So for the Raiden coil, those kind of items would be something that kind of reinforces or gives me more ammo. So the hero's bandana, which increased my max ammo, is a big win there. And then there are several bullet upgrades or passive items that just give flat damage increases or may increase my speed. There are several other guns that I'll probably take if I'm offered them, but the big plan for this run will just be kind of making the Raiden coil as OP as possible. And I keep getting free ammo. That's nice. Usually not the marathon luck I get, but I'm here for it. So this is a procedurally generated map. The logic behind the maps is pretty much solved. A shout out to Spleen and several other Gungeon runners that solved these, not seeds, but solved the RNG and have pretty well documented it. Everything's kind of based on when I walk in a room first in a floor, depending on how many doors there are in each room, I can kind of predict where the boss is going to be. Some floors, there's just so many rooms that it's more kind of a system of guesses, but the first couple of floors I know basically exactly where to go. Now, that doesn't mean the floor layout is going to be fast, but it does give me a good clue as to where to go or where to aim. Some floor layouts are kind of a big circle and you're just looking where to exit off of. Some of them are just a big straight shot. But we were able to solve the logic because the Gungeon always gives us certain things. We're always going to get a shop on every floor. We're always going to get 2 chests on every floor. So you can imagine with that in mind, we can start to predict where things need to be. And I'm going to pick up this laser rifle. The laser rifle is going to be the new boss killer weapon. The Raiden coil is great for clearing rooms. You know, it's kind of a weapon I don't actually have to aim very much because there is beam auto aim assist, beam weapon auto aim assist. But the laser rifle is just going to completely nuke bosses. So these floors are going to start taking a little bit longer because even if I knew exactly where the boss was, which I don't, not yet at least, we've still got to get there. There are several secrets in this game. We've got an entire category called the All Floors Run that's specifically devoted to doing every secret in one run. But right now we're just going to take out any percent. Going to stick with what is safe and viable in an RTA run. I feel like I've said RTA run like 20 times already, so you're welcome. There are lots of effects that we need to watch out for too. This is oil on the ground that can be lit on fire. There are 2 major kind of environmental damages other than falling hazards, which you can fall and you will take damage. And that is fire and poison. If I walk across fire, I have to literally stop, drop, and roll to put the fire out. And then poison slowly accumulates, and if I stand in poison for too long, I then take damage. There's also some, I don't want to say hidden mechanics. There's lots of different stats we can acquire in a run. The main ones would be coolness and curse. Coolness increases things like our crit chance. We also have opportunities to pick up active use items, and our coolness speeds up the cooldown reduction for the active use items, which we don't have one yet, so that's hard to demonstrate. Curse, on the other hand, increases the chance that we're going to spawn what the game calls jammed enemies. So if you can imagine the damned, but all the enemies are bullets, so they're jammed. And they shoot cursed bullets. And so most normal bullets do half a heart or 1 armor worth of damage. A cursed bullet would do a full heart, but still only 1 armor worth of damage. But we do want to pick up some curse if we're given the option, because curse is kind of it has its pros and its cons. The cons being, stronger enemies that do more damage, but the pros is that curse increases our item drop chance. And so every time we clear a room, there is a very low base chance that we get an item drop. You've been seeing me get just random. This is the mine flare, by the way. She'll drop out some mines here eventually. But you'll see I've gotten like armor here and there. Or not armor. Ammo here and there just dropping randomly at the end of rooms. And the more curse I get, the higher chance I'm going to get something like armor or health or ammo at the end of clearing rooms. And that can be very important in the speed run, because when we get a good gun, we want to be able to use that gun for the entire run. And so ammo consistency and ammo drops are really important. But we're on the 4th floor. We got 2 more floors to go. We're going to grab, we'll grab the Gungeon strain. This is a Mass Effect reference, to the Andromeda strain, and this literally just makes everything in the game weaker. We've actually got some really good item luck so far. We got a couple good weapons, huge ammo increase, and then the Gungeon strain is a really strong item to get towards the end of the run, because it just makes everything die faster. So when you get to a point that it's like, okay, I've got good enough weapons, just need to beat the game quick now. And Gungeon strain is one of several items that just makes everything better. Now, I kind of mentioned how this run is going to be very different than if you just were, to look up a top 10 run on the leaderboard. And another thing to mention is I'm playing on a 100% save file. So for the majority of speedrunning, what was I going to say? The majority of speedrunning Gungeon, which is the game I'm playing, we played on 100% save file. It's kind of it's what unlocks everything in the game. You want everything unlocked. There's some really strong things that you unlock as kind of the final items. And so it was always kind of the best. We might need to go see Link. There's not going to be an exit off a Link. It was always kind of the go-to way to play the game. More recently, there have been a few runners. The current world record holder for several categories. Oh, we did a mini boss fight. Hollow Gun kind of went through and meticulously unlocked certain items. So they actually use different save files for different categories, depending on whether they're doing a rainbow run. What's the best? What items do they know have a high chance of showing up? Versus whether they're doing just normal any percent runs. So the game has been out for a while, but the speedrun and strats are still developing. And it is a very enjoyable game to speedrun casually. I have a few categories that I've put a lot of time and effort into grinding down really solid times. More of the longer categories like the 8-character run or the all-fours run. But the 80% runs for me are just, like I said, as much of an enjoyable challenge as they are like me pushing for a really competitive time, because there's only so many hours in the day, and really I don't want to use the word seed because runs in this game aren't seeded, but every version of the Gungeon you get is kind of its own little mini unique speedrun challenge. So we're on to the final floor. Hopefully not giving... Ooh, we get the other bandana. All right. I kind of hate coming in way underestimate, but also like coming in way underestimate. So we are going to be underestimate as long as we can get through the forge and kill the final boss. Oh, and the Wall Master. Never fun. Oh, we got the evolved Wall Master. Okay, let's go. So this is the forge. It is the 5th and final normal level. There is a couple other ways to beat the game past the forge, depending on what you've unlocked, but I won't spoil anything for anyone. The important thing to know about the forge and the layout is the final boss room and kind of the ending of this floor is really large, and you have to enter it from the side or the bottom. There's a room before the boss, and then the boss room we're always going to enter from the bottom. The room before the boss we can enter from the side or the bottom. So that's the main driver in where we're going on this floor, because it's not going to be below us. So at any given time, I want to go up and away from the center of the map, and that's going to give me the absolute best. And we got, oh my god, good RNG in the forge. There is exactly one layout of the forge, or one potential generation, I should say, that has an exit from the shop, and that exit always leads to the final boss. So this is the Dragon. It's the final 80% boss. It is a 2-stage boss. We cannot skip the second stage, so we'll be seeing that as well. The laser rifle here just completely chunking down the boss. I'm doing so much damage at this point, I am hitting the boss cap. All of the normal bosses in this game have a rolling 3-second maximum damage amount. So hitting the damage cap here, we're not losing any DPS. We're really just being inefficient with ammo when we hit the damage cap. So if I were using a gun that I needed to worry about ammo, I'd kind of be shooting more slowly. But this is the final phase. We're going to get to see the Dragon's Heart. Hopefully we can one-cycle it with the laser rifle. We're going to be close here. This reload's kind of long. Switch guns. There we go. Dragon's dead. We have one final chest to open, and then we'll have time coming up. I don't want to spoil too much of the game, because I know you're all going to go out and play it right after this run, or maybe right after the marathon. But one of the things the characters are looking for in Enter the Gungeon is the gun and the bullet that can kill their past. So I'm going to grab this really funky shaped gun, and whenever I shoot myself with the gun that can kill the past is going to be time. So that's going to be in 3, 2, 1, time. Well, time. And that is Enter the Gungeon, 80% rainbow mode with the gunslinger. We'll see what the official in-game time is. Yes, very, very deep lore. 15:48 in-game time. I will take that all day long. Had some good items there. We hit 3 bosses. I appreciate everybody hanging out. I've had a blast watching the marathon so far. I look forward to the rest of the week. This is my first Shots Fired appearance, so I hope you all enjoyed it. Make sure to check out the rest of the runners and show some love to all of the volunteers and everybody behind the scenes. I'm Dan the VP, and I'll see y'all in chat.